Guess who's back with another hotel tutorial? This guy. And this is what we are cooking up today, my guys.
Check. Check.
Woo! That's right. That's right. We're making some dubstep today. Today, I want to show you guys how to make a drop with just starting with one sound. What you heard in that preview is a variety of basses that all came from a single patch. And to showcase this, I just made some quick sound design in 10 minutes. I made a couple variations of a patch. I then, as you can see, resampled it over here. And just with these resamples, I made that whole drop that you guys just heard. And I think this is helpful because you need to know how to resample and repurpose your basses for the purpose of writing a drop. Because I see a lot of people and a lot of my students write some MIDI sound design, which is nothing wrong with that. I personally don't really do good with just MIDI, but they write in MIDI and then can't get a flow or can't get an idea or something isn't clicking for them. I'm going to show you guys something I literally wrote in 10 minutes and what I made in 15 minutes with the resampling of that. We're going to break that down. So before we get in the video, make sure to like, comment something you learned, or just say hey. That's cool. Just say hey. Boost me in the algorithm. I like that too. And if you're new here, subscribe for future videos as I put out weekly tutorials as I'm getting caffeinated at 9 p.m. because work is a lot. We started with this basic patch. All I really have is just a little EQ shaping, 4-band OTT blowing it out, and then just this fat rack. Also, if you see me touching my earbuds, because I feel like they're falling out. This is what the downbeat sounds like right here. Usually I don't go into patches and how I make them, but I'll quickly go into this because you know, you'll see the resemblance in other patches. So I just have a wavetable here. It's from VR's Volume 2. I just went and just chose something that sounded cool. This is what it came out with. I'm running this in parallel with the saw here, running through a high notch filter. You'll see that this is mainly controlling my levels on some things and some filters. On the second page, don't worry, we will cover that. We have it modulating some other stuff here. Now, the cool thing about this is we also have this. I have this on half rate versus the first one I had on a quarter note. So this is my volume. This is the shape of my bass. And the other stuff is getting this push-pull, this bup, bup. So if I do this, and I have another one with the as I'm doing the same thing. Now, you can already hear the variation in these basses. If I just mess with a couple of these LFOs, I've got 6 or 7 different basses, you know? It's the importance of it. This next one is just a amp. We don't really need to get too into this. This just really accents the hit of the bass. So without it, without it. Just really accents where you put the LFO up, which is during the main chunk of the bass. Really gives that like that staccato-ness. From there, we have a little volume pitching down the master. Wavetable shaping and sync with the second one, messing with the resonance a little bit, and then messing with this hyper detune. So it gets more detuned the higher it goes up. So you can hear the difference there. Third one is messing just with the ASIM. So I like to put it on different LFOs because I can change different parameters and you can already hear 4 or 5 different basses coming from one shot. The variation in LFO allows you to do that. Amp doesn't really matter. It's kind of hard to tell, but it gets the job done. And then we also know what LFO does. So on the second page as well, we already covered this covering hyper. So it's kind of chaotic because this is just normal filter movement. I mean, honestly, just mainly LFO1's doing a lot of the filters, as you can see, mix, which is like the on-off, just like your levels. You have your filter movement, And I'm also doing a reverse reverb here where when the LFO's up, the reverb's not active, and then when it goes down, you get a little bit of wetness. Without it, I just like reverb. I think it sounds cool, so I did that. Now, you can change stuff in this if you wanted to. You can turn this up. Doesn't really sound good in this instance. I actually think that sounds kind of cool. I lied. Sounds fucking cool, right? Turn this down to the same octave and turn this. It's a really nasty kind of hit. That's kind of cool, actually. So you have so much variety here. And just playing with your LFO will get you different variety. That's what you need to take away from this. I digress. So from there, I just made a fill, which is the growl. All I did, extended this, switched the filter. I just moved the wavetable of the original. And I played with the LFO differences. So made my curves a little different. And for the most part, we got another bass. So that's bass number 2. Bass 3, I just drew out a long MIDI and just played with the LFO here. Same thing, just messed with these a little bit. Same wavetable, same filter. I switched it to combs here, which doesn't really do too much, but it creates this. And the goal here is not necessarily to create a pattern that I'm going to keep, but I want different shots so I can one-shot it in the future, because I like playing with one-shots. So I want a different variety out of this. Same thing with here. We're creating even more sporadic one. And I think I just cut up this patch. I don't think I really changed much in it. I think everything else remains the same. So I think I just kind of just staccatoed it. Just to get different rhythms out of it. And then lastly, I turned one into a sustain, just EQ'd it differently. Once again, everything's pretty the same, except we did an envelope for the sustain ramp. If you're not a sound designer, don't worry. You don't need to like take notes on all this to make sense. It's what we do with it down the road. And we just changed with a few things, made this more stable. Not the greatest sustain, but it will do. I then bounced all this. So we have all that remade. So what I want to show you is what we made in 10 minutes here, just with sound design. And I just threw it together for a drop with a quick drum loop from Bad Clats, samples from Avon. Just something quick. So here's a quick build into it. Check. So we took those samples from that, and once again, we made this at the beginning, but I'm going to re-show you, since it's been a second, to show you what came from that. Check. Check. Cool, so much fuller sounding drop, and let's dive into this. First of all, the fake out was just the growl that we had for the fill over there. And of course, you know, we have our reverb on there. So it's just Valhalla washout with more washout. It's quite a bit of washout. And then I have my fake out rack coming in, just resonates the D frequency because that's what I wrote in. And you can hear the reverb wash there. So we have that just repeating for 2 bars. I also took the, oh, I'm scrolling over. Oh yeah. I took this hit right here and I played with it for not too long, and I made this cool, like, almost like synth without anything on it. Sounds like this. Yo, what? This cutting out low end, this doing absolutely nothing. Spectral resonance doing a lot. Oh, wait, Berlin on. Let's hear that. Sounds fucking terrible. Then we turn on Berlin, which is just a preset for resonator. Turn it to key I wanted, turn the decay where I wanted. And then, of course, some lovely reverb. And you get like a little stab. So that was cool. And it just sounds nice to have a little synth to the dubstep. And it gets drowned out by the massive growl hit here. So that's pretty much the fake out here. And we just bring it back with the original downbeat from the sound design. With this. We also added a stereo layer. Sounds fucking terrible, but it's in the back as almost acting as my effects because I don't have any effects because I'm not doing that because I made it in 15 minutes. Also, in the pre-drop, we have the sustain coming up. Womp. So now we're in the heat of it. We brought our main kind of chug it. And I'll just cut this part up to make it go push-pull. We also just took one of these one-shots. I have a little cha-da-da. Since this is a little delayed, I want something to hit initially a little bit before when my sidechain comes in. So that's what that's acting as. I stretched the heck out of this. Let's figure out what this actually is. Yeah, it's from the groove that we had earlier. This. So I just played with that and just added some quick effects to it to make it kind of fill up. So what I did was low cut, I added a Muerte high rack, which just drowns it with a ton of reverb and makes it really transient heavy. It's really good for very short basses. OTT, spectral resonator, and then a lot of phase flange. Might even sound cool like that. I like that. We'll keep flange off. Then I added a typical bro step underneath layer. We have EQ off. Once again, this is just a normal bro step. Hit this. Well, let's get it out of the whoopsie. Whatever this is. So it's part of that bass. Stretched it and there's it. And that's just with a EQ and just a stock hybrid reverb with stereo turned down, dry wet up, and that's really all messed with. Just adding another push pull underneath. Goes up over here. And we just have the sustain, which I just resonated the one frequency I wanted. Got rid of this air. I really didn't touch anything else, don't mind this. That was me just messing around. That's all the sustain is. From that, I just took the vocal, turned it down a little bit. Check. Obviously, I would mix this a little better, but this is just a YouTube tutorial, so y'all will get this. So just from that, I stacked all this together, and we got a very full sounding drop. So one final time, we'll have the span. We'll have span. Span up, and I'll show you. We're pushing like -2 LUFS. Like I said, wrote this in 15 minutes. The whole thing about this is being able to take sounds and use it for other purposes, whatever genre you want, and making a flow in which you can work with. Work quick. Don't overcomplicate things. I chose very basic sounds that sound alike to create this drop, so you guys can get a sense that you don't need to overcomplicate it. So here we go one last time. Check. I guess I'll just leave this in the description if you guys want it. You can grab this project file, play with it yourself. I'll freeze it down, make it look good. I'm not going to do anything with it, so have fun, create sounds with it, and I hope this video helped you guys. If it did, once again, like the video, comment, and subscribe if you're new here. We're on the road to 5K. I'm doing a giveaway at 5K, so help me achieve it. And you'll see over here, one of these sides, videos that are probably for you. Peace.